Hello. I'm back. Another video. This is for astrology for December the 19th. I'm tired. I'm gonna need the rest this evening. We only got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aspects going on today. It started after midnight last night, so it would have been from the 18th into the 19th. Eastern Standard Time. It was like 15 minutes after midnight on my time, Eastern Standard Time. That was what was happening here. Some of this happened. A lot of this happens while I'm asleep. All right, we see it. There we go. All right, the first thing we got was the moon in Pisces. You can see it right here at 19 degrees. All right. And it's sextiling Uranus at 19 degrees and 43 minutes in. And so there is something here. You know, our mood affects our thinking. And there's the mystical rectangle going on here. We also have a couple of T-squares that this was activating these aspects with this moon in Pisces sextiling Uranus. A sudden change happening overnight. Now this, like I said, this next, after this, what was going on, these aspects were having, were affecting things from a quarter after midnight to 9:07 this morning. Wow. That's a long time for this to be going on. The first thing we have is this mystic triangle. And it was dealing with the sun to the north node, trying the north node. And we have the south node. My eyes start to itch. I need to put some drops in it. We have the south node trying the midheaven. Then we have the north node sextiling the midheaven. And the sun trying the south node. So it's something with the past and the future. And there's an opposition with the sun to the midheaven. And it's coming right in. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I feel like our purposes and our goals, or what we have aspirations toward, or plans toward, or goals to achieve or accomplish, is we have to set our devotion to those causes and those projects or person, or to a belief that's really sacred to us. We really need to know, what are we going to devote ourselves to? And I feel like this is the divine saying, you know, we can't wander like zombies anymore. We've got to become aware of where we are in our life and where we want to go. And that we have to let go of something that we've done in the past to move forward into a better future. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're going to have a hard time later on setting those goals. The longer you wait, the more harder it's going to be to accomplish what you want. You should have already been working on it. The next thing we have is the T-square that happened. And this T-square dealt with the sun. It's sitting still in the same place. We have the sun, the hand of God is what I call it, as well, with that degree there. that had to deal with Neptune being at the apex of this T-square with that opposition to the ascending, and the moon in opposition to the ascending, about whatever this is that needs to be done. Definitely has to do with Mercury going retrograde, reassessing things, and what actions we're going to take in the future, what plans we're going to make, which direction we're going in. You know, you just don't go out there and crank the car up and then just sit there. You know, you got a plan where you're going, a direction you want to move toward. And right now, I feel like we're in this place that we're going to have to reassess those goals and plans because things are going to change. I mean, we got the ascending at 26 degrees. We've got the sun at 27 degrees. We got Neptune at 24 degrees, and we've got the midheaven at 25. You know, they're all within a degree or two of the other. But the sun is bringing some light to your belief system, and it's in the house of relationships. I mean, some of you could have had a dream. You could have got a message. Write your dreams down. You know, as a matter of fact, thinking about it, when I woke up this morning, I felt like I had some sort of dream, but it wasn't a very strong one. Not enough for it to stay with me to wait when I woke up in the morning to keep, you know, that it was fresh on my mind. It was probably something in my subconscious that was trying to come up, but maybe I was suppressing it or repressing it. I don't know. Just didn't want to think about it. I was letting it go. Maybe something here is finally leaving my life. We also have a T-square here when it comes to the ascending. And the apex here on this T-square happens to be the sun. Again with Neptune. Focusing on something here that apparently the divine wants you to focus on. That you're struggling with. I mean, we've got two T-squares here. And the mystic triangle. I really feel like God's trying to help us through something here, but we just got to be open to it. We got to activate our minds. We got to rethink things. And I feel like it's all about our purpose because things are going to change. You ever heard where I know a lot of people, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about prophecies and all this. I'm very cautious to those. You know, just don't believe everything everybody tells you or every, you know, conspiracy or somebody might say something. Know who you're getting things from. But I do know that God's got a plan for each and every one of us. Now let's go on to 9 o'clock this morning because this went on all night long. And I guarantee you, a lot of y'all were probably having some kind of dreams or y'all were having a restless night because of that moon going into conjunct with Neptune here. That would be kind of like a dream to me. Either of a partnership or a relationship with someone, that you're going through something here. The next thing we have at 9 o'clock, at 9:07 Eastern Standard Time, by then you're up, of course. Sun's already up. Where's the ascending? It's in Capricorn, 270. I believe it's 270. Yes, 270. And the sun is up now. And the ascending is in a square to the north node and the south node. Squares are where you're either going to build towards something, or you're stumbling toward building something. You're having difficulty, but it's how you handle. It's up to you how you handle these squares, and the way you handle them shows what you're made of and what you're like on the inside. When a challenge comes to you, do you face it head on? Do you look at it and say, how can I overcome this? I mean, we're looking at 3 cardinal signs here. Do you rise to the occasion? I mean, we're looking at air, earth, and fire. And it's, again, whatever you're trying to do here, you're reevaluating it. And that sun and Mars could have to deal with some karma in your faith in something, your philosophy. You know, a lot of people, you deal with people who, I mean, people will say, I'm an atheist. Ricky Gervais is an atheist. That's fine. I mean, he can believe what he wants to believe. But nobody should criticize others because of what they believe. I'm not criticizing him. I think he's a very funny man. And he's got a weird way of thinking. I mean, he's kind of quirky. I call him quirky. You know, but there is something here that needs some adjustment to what you're going to invest in, what you're going to devote yourself to, and then what actions you have to take all of a sudden, suddenly this morning. And you've got to activate with all there's a lot of sextiles here and trions here. Good Lord. I don't know if that was a mailman or somebody running off the road. Didn't look like no mailman. But anyway, I'm just sitting here looking out the window when I saw that. Caught my attention. But I see a lot of trions here. You know, sometimes it's not good just to go with the flow. You get yourself in trouble that way as well. The next aspect we have for the day was at 1:40 in the afternoon, and the sun being in Sagittarius and the ascending being in Aries, 0, and the ascending being here where it was went in conjunction with the North Node, and it went direct, and it's dealing with the T-square again. So again, it's this conjunction between the Moon and Neptune. Both of these having to do with Mars, of taking some sort of action for the future, refocusing on devotion and what you're going to be devoted to in the future. Maybe there's, with this conjunction between the Moon during that time of its conjunction, because this is very spiritual over here from what I'm seeing. And the nodes are now direct. But we still have some retrogrades going on, so there's something here where there's a challenge from Pluto to the ascending, squaring it, and Chiron squaring the midheaven. There's going to be some sort of challenge here about the past, opposition to the past. I wonder if this, Venus being in detriment and an opposition to Uranus, I feel like there's still this sudden change, but a stubbornness to change. Somebody's still repressing what they feel. And if you're doing that, then how can you be devoted to something? And how can you focus on something when you're repressing things? And yet, with the quincunxes that are here from Mars to Uranus and Pluto to Vesta, and trying to work through this T-square toward that goal that you want to reach, or that plan you have, you want to set in motion. And that Mercury moving back and the sun getting ready to go, because on the 21st, first thing you know, we're going to go into the new season of Capricorn. And Mercury's going to cross over that sun. It's going to start moving a lot quicker. Mercury moves fast, and it's going to pass in front of the sun. And something here is definitely going to illuminate the something here that might even be repressed. I don't know, the first thing that came to my mind is when I was looking at that or even talking about it, I think about the Hangman card. The head being illuminated. Because both of those will be at 0 degrees. Mercury 0 in Capricorn and the sun at 0 degrees in Capricorn. And it's about expansion. Oh, that must have been somebody about run off the road then. So there's going to have to be something here. And this is the first quarter of the moon. With the sun squaring the moon in Pisces. And the moon being conjunct with Neptune. Very much about spirituality. Fire and water don't really mix. But it could inspire the emotions to really look at something here. To want to accomplish some sort of goal here. And look at that goal and see if it's achievable. Because right now with the T-square, you could be having some difficulty. All right, let's go to the next event that we have here, which would be the moon in Pisces. A lot of T-squares going on here. What the hell? I told you it's going to get tense. And it's sextiling Pluto in Capricorn. and the ascending in Gemini. So what's coming up? Taurus is up now. And this is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So 4:03, and it's right now my time is at 4:39. So we're not far from that. So this, and that's going to go on to about 5, almost 10 minutes till 5. We're getting close to that hour, but we have a square here with the moon, the sun squaring the moon, and the moon squaring Vesta here with an opposition back to the sun. I just feel like this is some type of goal that you're focusing on, that you want to get completed or you want to get it done. The other one is Mercury retrograde to the moon, rethinking something here about the goal. Or the plan. So it's good to see that somebody's activating their mind and they're thinking. And then the last one of this time, you got 3 squares going on here. And this one's dealing with Uranus, as you can see there. Squaring the midheaven, which is squaring Venus, which is in its detriment. Negative, repressed, weak. In the opposition back to Uranus. Of a sudden change. Two to 3 degrees. Or 1 to 3 degrees. Sorry about that. It's 1 to 3 degrees in opposition. And then these, you can see the squares here. And there's something about adjustments, the energies of Pluto to Vesta. Again, Mars to Uranus. A sudden, you have to make some kind of quick decision here. And you have to have the courage to do that, to make that decision. I just wouldn't want to be, I've been around people who like, well, I can't decide what I'm going to do. And that just infuriates me to see somebody just all the time saying that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't decided. Damn, make a decision. Take a stance. When I keep hearing somebody say that over and over again, that's what I want to say to them. Stand up for something. Gee, can't go through life with nothing. Never making a decision, because that tells me that somebody that's like that, it's like they don't want to take responsibility for something. Let somebody else make the decision. That's a coward's way out, isn't it? That kind of shows somebody what they're made of. Know what you want and go after it. Fight for it. Stand up for what it is. Lord knows I've had to do that. Sometimes I look at things, and being a Virgo, I'm very analytical. I'm looking at the puzzle, and I'm looking at the pieces, and I'm like, okay, how do we work through this? How do we find the solution here? And I'll figure it out. Might take me a little while, but I'll make the decision. Promise you that. And especially when I'm had enough, and I'm like, this got to end. The next event we got going on here, I had to change this because I noticed I made a mistake on this. The moon then moves into Aries. I don't know why I had it set for Sagittarius, but I noticed it was moving into Aries, not Sagittarius. And the ascending now has gone into Cancer. Oops. So this is where we are at 5:47. Or no, I'm sorry. Is that 5? Yeah. So that last aspect's going to go on to almost 10 minutes till 6 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm kind of getting ahead of the game now. And we have the 2 T-squares going on, as you see right here. Same thing what I said from earlier. It's still, somebody's still working on some kind of goal here. That there's an opposition to something here. It's not opposed. They just, I don't know, is it not wanting to focus on something? Or the day's done and I'm done with it? Or what is this? Did somebody have a goal? Usually when I look at things in retrograde, the first thing is I look at what happened, what was the date that, let's just say I'm looking at Vista or even at Mercury. And I look at I take note of the day that it entered in that house and that sign. Then I look at where it goes to the degree of that it goes stationary and take note of what was going on between the time that it entered till it stopped and went stationary, that it's going retrograde back in to this certain position. So I'll go all the way back to the time of when it was in that position. And I'll say, what was in that time frame that I'm going back and reassessing, or I'm looking over something. So I would say somebody here is focused or in some opposition where they have to have awareness and objectivity of a date and a time, that they weren't very conscious of what was going on in a relationship, and now something's coming back in that to bring the illumination, or that you're frustrated due to frustration that it didn't work the way it was supposed to work or where you planned for it to work. You follow me? I hope you can understand that. But a T-square is where there's 2 challenges or 2 blockages, squares, with an opposition. And what's at the top of this is this moon here. And what you believed or what you had faith or whatever this was that was of a spiritual way and a belief of something that maybe you once were devoted to, but maybe now you're seeing it's not worth it, or that it's too much of a challenge to work through. If it has to do with a person or a work you're doing, or the work you're putting into a daily routine of doing something here. You know, I've noticed where people will get in relationships and in the beginning, oh, they're putting all this effort in, they're doing something every day, and then all of a sudden they change. What is that? I call it the honeymoon period. And this is where the challenges come in. And they kind of regress back to a time. I mean, we're looking at fire, air, And now it was water, but now it's fire. Two mutable signs, and now it's going into a cardinal sign, where it was fire, air, and water. It was kind of like just surviving something. You know what I mean? Just trying to make it through something. As challenging as it was, or, roadblocks, stumbling blocks, or whatever this was, or trying to build something here. Maybe, in relationships, some people are trying to build relationships with a goal or a plan in mind, and then all of a sudden they realize this ain't working out. I'm having to put too much effort in something here. And then we've got the T-square again, with Mercury being now reassessing again this goal or plan. And now you've got to take some sort of action here. Because the moon going into Aries, which deals with Mars. And the nodes being direct. It's about the past and the future, and where you are at this point in life. We also got a trapezoid here. So this is something you can see that you're getting where you're kind of stuck in something here. Because this is dealing with Saturn in a sextile over to Jupiter. And from Jupiter, sextiling the ascending. That has to do definitely with, something that's in an opposition to Mercury. And Mercury sextiling Saturn. There's a limit or something here you're working through that you're struggling with. And having this triumph from Saturn to the ascending, that's something, this goal or whatever that's coming up at this time, that's going to come up later this evening. I mean, it's either a trap that you're getting yourself caught up into, that now you got to work your way to get through it. And Mercury to Jupiter. I don't know, it's like rethinking something here. It's almost like, I got to rethink this. This ain't going as easy, or is going as, as easy as I thought it would. I got to reassess my goals here, my plan. It's like, kind of, it's funny, the name, trapezoid. It's like the trap-ezoid. A trap you should have avoided. But instead of avoid, is zoid. Because look at all the squares that are there. Mars to the midheaven. The moon to Vista. The sun to Neptune. It's like in the sun to the square and the moon. It's almost like being caught in something. And squares, like I said, they're stumbling or building blocks, and it's up to you. And it's how you handle the squares that shows what you're like on the inside. How are you going to deal with this? Like getting yourself caught up into something here, and how in the hell do I get myself out of it? It's like it would be almost like if you was painting the floor of a room and you painted yourself into the corner. I'm stuck. Saturn would be that opening space. Can't go this way and I can't go that way. So how am I going to get out of this? Somebody didn't think something through here. It's got to be people who are not thinking things through and feel like they're caught up in something that's not easy at all, in a cycle that is not easy. And because of something suddenly happening, you got to make some adjustments. You got to maybe go in a different direction. But which direction am I going to go in? I mean, that's kind of like what I'm looking at here. I told you this is not going to get any easier. Then we're looking at this is around 10 minutes till 6, and then right here at 6 o'clock, still the same thing. The only difference I can see here, we still got the squares going on. But the only thing I see that's different between this trapezoid and this one happens to be the trine from Saturn to the ascending. Because now, with the moon in Aries, and it's squaring Vista, you can't just go along with this. You're stuck in something here. Your goal is not going as the way you planned it. And now, with the combined energies of the moon to Neptune, and Neptune to the midheaven, you're at this point in your life that but you got to let something go. You got to make this adjustment. You got to make this decision. Queen Conscious shows where there's decision and adjustments needed between the energies. And we're talking about this South Node. To the midheaven. That you're at a point in your life right now that you have got to look at this and make some sort of adjustment in what you believe. And you've got to have the courage to make a decision to release whatever this is. A belief, a faith in something, because of the squares, and how you handle those squares and how you handle these challenges is going to tell what you're made of in the inside. I told you it wasn't going to get easy. And you're going to have to reassess your goals and reassess your plans. Maybe take a different action, a different approach, or change your behavior. You're going to have to be more adaptable to something here instead of so set in something. This could be dealing with in your social life, because I don't see where things are going the way that we would want them to go. Really? I told you, and 21st is going to be one hell of a day. You think today is something, and what you've been seeing here lately, in these last few videos that I posted. Wait till the 25th, the 21st hit. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the 20th, and then I can work tomorrow, hopefully, get the 21st up before it actually comes in. Okay? Thank you for joining me on this one. Thank you for being with me today. I really appreciate it and having an interest in this. Like I said, everything that I'm doing is going to be in December's playlist for 2023. I hope this helps in some way, that you can actually see the things that are happening here and highlighting them and bringing them out where you can see them, and that it shows you that if you activate your mind, you can work through this. Even even with Mercury being retrograde and Jupiter being retrograde and Uranus being retrograde, all those three, it's something you're going to have to definitely re-examine and activate your mind. Don't get lazy. Don't get lazy in your thinking. Okay? You'll have to work within some limits here, some restrictions possibly. Maybe, could be mental restrictions. Kind of see that Eight of Swords, where mentally you're blindfolded, you can't see your way out of something. You're waiting for this hangman, the enlightenment, to sacrifice something. Or just say, I give up on something. But never give up until you've tried. Because if I'd given up, I'd have never accomplished what I did yesterday. Or what I'm doing today, as a matter of fact. I pushed myself. I have to. Because I'm not going to just sit around and cry my eyes out over life and what it throws at me. I'm going to keep my faith. And what I can handle, I'll handle. And what I can't handle, I'll let God do the work. He'll find the way. Or He'll guide me in the path I got to go. He'll show me. That's why I love my faith in something. Maybe some people just don't have that. If they don't, I have empathy for them. I don't pity them. I have empathy because they don't know what they're missing. How good life can be and how peaceful it can be. Okay? So, I do want to say thank you again. You can share the link to the videos with your friends. Support me. Give the videos a thumb up. And by sharing the link, bringing a friend in. And if you come in here and you're new, please hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up so you can be notified of whenever I am going live and when something new is being posted. If you don't have them done, you won't know. Okay? So y'all take care, and I will see y'all later. Thank you.